Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Into the Red Rabbit Hole. I'm Nighthawk, your host, and welcome to the Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel. I'm going to get right into the disclaimer on this so we don't get censored and stuff. And then we're going to be talking some sensitive subjects concerning divine intervention and several other topics, okay? So, that being said, copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the fair use. The fair use is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel, all the podcasts on the channel, declare fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only. Let's not forget the entertainment value, which is what tonight's going to be, and teaching a little bit, hopefully. So it's going to be under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the Fair Use Act. Okay, that being said, let me get that off of there and put something else on and say hello to everybody that's in the chat and say hello to Eric.
Hey. Oh, wait, I did that wrong.
I'll get that off. All right. Let's see here. Let's get this show on the road. Who we got in the chat? Hopefully we got some people in the chat. Roxanne's the only one. Oh, there's that E.D. Testerman, though. You got to keep an eye on him, Roxanne.
That
keep an eye on him. Oh. Anyways, well, I mean, there's going to be more people joining in. I don't know who else is on tonight, but we'll see. Well, you broke the 300 barrier, huh, Eric?
Yep, 302 when I last checked. So I'll be doing that 10 code audio book for a newest book that went out on audio this weekend. I've been trying to come up with the 10 questions. So
good. And that's good to Roxanne's answer. Oh, I will.
She keeps me in line, man.
Anyway, we're gonna get into some really touchy subjects tonight, Eric and Roxanne, and anybody else that's listening. Feel free to join in the chat. It's going to be a touchy thing because we're talking divine, whatever you want, divine intervention, divine blessing, divine heavenly protection over certain individuals, and determining whether those individuals are divinely inspired and protected under the Heavenly Father, or whether they're divinely protected under the fallen. That's the thing. Good evening, Dawn. Good to see you. Anyways, we are going to start, Eric, with I put it out in the chat earlier today, and I sent it to everybody I could think of, about the possibility of the president with a T is divinely inspired and divinely protected. And I started doing some history on something I was working on several years ago. And I had this fascination several years ago while I was going through my first cancer battle and basically given 6 months to live. I was looking for the spear of destiny. Okay. I was trying to chase it down, okay, and figure out where it was, because it said, well, here I'll actually read the definition to you of the spear of destiny from it's called the Holy Lamp, or a holy that pierced the side of Jesus as he hung from the cross during his crucifixion. Adolf Hitler and Heinrich Himmler uh, coveted the spear of destiny, as a legend says that he who holds that spear, whoever has the holy lance, can manipulate everything. Can manipulate everything. That's kind of that's not an exaggeration either, because what I found on it too was that basically nobody knows where it's at. But I actually chased it down to a certain billionaire living in Florida, believe it or not. The great state of Florida. Does that ring any bells, anybody? A billionaire that lives in the great state of Florida. Anybody? Nobody wants to add to that? Okay, well, I followed it down to a certain billionaire in Florida that allegedly has the spear of destiny. Okay. Now, remember, he that holds the spear can change the world and control the world. Okay. Here is the spear of destiny. Okay. And now, I'm getting a hard time breathing. Anyways, this is allegedly what it's supposed to be. Okay. The lance tip that pierced the side of Jesus on the cross. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say uncertainly that a certain billionaire has it in Florida, because I don't want to give out any names, but I'm sure everybody in the chat can understand who I'm talking about. That really loves to play golf a lot and does probably most of his business dealings on the golf course. And this certain individual, if he still has this object, this blessed object by the blood of Jesus, maybe, just maybe, that's where the divine influence comes from, controlling his future. Let's put it that way. And it's especially if he runs for president. Also, though, what we've got to consider is it a divine influence, heavenly influence on his life and the life of his whoever he picks to serve with him, or is it a darker divine energy source, since he has been endorsed by the one individual that a lot of people assumed, rumors prevailed about, this certain Elon Tusk that might be the Antichrist, and I don't think he is, but I do believe there is a prediction that he will be the one to introduce the Antichrist, which, judging by his influence, the whole political scheme kind of lines up with what's going on right now. Now, I'm not saying that anybody is the Antichrist right now, okay? I'm not making that claim. What I'm doing is merely trying to connect the dots. I'm trying to be the detective and figure out what we can expect, okay? Especially after November, okay? So that being said, hello, Don. Good to see you. And that being said, I would like to say that this Elon Tusk and his interview that he did recently with this Donald Dump. I'm trying not to get censored by talking about this, because it's a very, very touchy subject. There was a prediction made a couple years ago that Elon was going to be the one to introduce the Antichrist. Okay, now we all know that when the Antichrist is in power, it's because the person that he is coming in is introduced by somebody famous, and that would be Elon. They would almost have like a best friends type of a relationship for a while. Now, it's also said that the one that comes into this world as the Antichrist doesn't know that he's going to be the Antichrist until he actually is unalived and brought back to this world with the evil darkness within him. In other words, he's not going to come back from unalived the same as before when he left. Okay, he'll have the same mannerisms and the same, way of sweet talking and stuff like that, and how to get things done. Woo, good to see you. But he's not going to be the same because ultimately he is going to be ruled with Satan. Okay. And it just kind of made sense to me the way all the chips fell in a row with this whole scenario, with the Antichrist, and also I correlated it with the popes in the Vatican. Okay, I did a lot of research in the Vatican lately, and I found that on the walls of the cathedral, there are round placards about the size of a coffee can in diameter, maybe a little bit bigger, probably twice the size, probably like a 14-inch, hubcap from like a car, in size, and they go around the whole galleria of the Vatican. Okay, and it's each pope that's been a pope at a certain time has basically their likeness pictured and imaged on these round placards, and they go around the whole Vatican wall ceiling. Okay, and there's only one that's left empty, and the legend is that when that pope is named, it will be the end of the world. It'll be the last pope ever. Okay, now that kind of correlates with the years that Jesus was on the earth, and you take that and you add it to the years that the popes were installed, and it comes out to 2027. Okay, 2027 it comes out to. Okay, yes, Christine. Yeah, good to see you. Uncut, good to see you. Yeah, Christine, I understand that. So many demons around, it is hard to tell who's the Antichrist. But I'm just putting this out there as theory. Okay, this isn't like a outright out oh, this is it, because I'm not that way. I put it out there for everybody to chat, our family to talk about. Give us a reason to have a podcast. And anyways, it's just it correlates with the whole Vatican thing too, and the 2027 year. So obviously, whoever is going to be president after this election in November is, I don't want to say that they're going to be the Antichrist, but they could be the person to introduce the Antichrist too. Okay. Now we have two scenarios here on the way that I'm thinking. Okay, we have either Elon Musk is introducing the Antichrist, and it's Donald Ump. Okay, and he just doesn't know it yet, which would be the divine protection around him. Or it's going to be like the King Charles of the UK that everybody's been talking about being the Antichrist. And that weird blood red portrait that he had. I just, there's so many scenarios that it could be. And I don't want to say that the next president of the United States is going to be the Antichrist, because I'm really hoping and praying in my heart of hearts that it's not. that the person that's elected is not going to be. But we all know this country's going down the crapper. Okay, it really is. Okay, I just, I'm just trying to theorize or think of things, because the only way, and a divine protection is a divine, we all have divine protection. Okay, all we have to do is ask for it. Okay, and our guardian angels or the angels, will come down, and protect us and save us. You've heard of the stories of butterfly people in the middle of tornadoes tearing apart homes with families and stuck in the closets of the home because they didn't have a basement, and they look up and they see these butterfly people protecting them from the tornadic wind. Okay, angels. Okay, plain and simple, angels. Okay, so we all have that capability. If we ask for divine protection and intervention, we will, be granted it if we ask. Okay, all we have to do is ask. Um, so I'm kind of hoping that's what we've got going on with this next president, is that he's just aligned with God in a way that he is automatically protected no matter what. I mean, we all saw the news of him being shot at. Okay, I'm not sure if anybody else knows, but the news, he was almost shot at again in North Carolina, and he went down to the border wall, the southern border wall in Texas, and they were on a manhunt for somebody that was threatening to shoot him down there too. So that's 3 attempts on this certain individual's life within less than a month. So we have to either consider that this is divine intervention that's protecting him, or is it from the spear of destiny, having the spear of destiny? Think about that. Anybody that has the spear of destiny automatically has the blood of Jesus protecting them. And the blood of Jesus and the spear of destiny is said to be able to manipulate the daily, activity of whoever, owns the spear. That's why Hitler tried so hard to find it and to get it, and unfortunately he did get one, and they can't determine whether it was the real one or the duplicate that was made. So there's really no way. I mean, that spear of destiny could have made it all the way down to the Antarctic area where they were going to have their Schwabenland, down there, the island down there for the Nazis' Fourth Reich. So I don't know, Eric. What do you think? I mean, am I just kicking up dust? Am I just kicking up dust, or does any of those viable things that I'm trying to describe about President T and Elon and King Charles, any of that seem viable to you?
Well, at one time I would agreed with you, but
Hey, Cameron,
there has been some recent discoveries. I'm trying to think how to say this without without saying too much. So there's a certain video that, let me pull this up, Roxanne was talking about. This is one of many things that I've seen. Not only this video, but several others from behind the scene, where I get a lot of resources that suggest that the new, we'll say Poe F, because I don't want to say it out loud, of a certain empire is the one that's to bring in the Antichrist. So he fits the bill on all the prophecies, fits the bill as the last Poe, fits the bill on a lot of stuff. And a lot of the people in this empire that's against this Poe and what this Poe has been doing are even saying that he is the one to bring them in. So at one time, I kind of wondered as well. Hey, Candy.
Yeah, so
one,
it would make sense to it would make sense that the next pope would introduce the Antichrist, which could be the King of England. We might as well just say it and put it out there. You know, because this is a topic of discussion. And hi, Candy, good to see you. Woo Rider, good to see you. Camo Dad, good to see you. Anyways, it would make sense on that aspect too, because also I made the connection that King Charles of the UK was also, he's Muslim, believe it or not, he's Muslim, and he is a direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler, which would make sense coming from the Romanian aspect of the East, which is depicted in the Bible as the area of the nations that the Antichrist is going to come from. So I don't know, but it just seemed to me that when I did the Spirit of Destiny research several years ago, I came across this billionaire down in Florida that loved to golf, that I was told verbally, actually, that he had the Spear of Destiny in his possession. So my question is, okay, if he's not going to be the Antichrist and all that, which is a blessing, if you ask me, then he's influenced by a higher power and protected by a higher power. And what higher power can you get other than the blood of Jesus Christ?
Yep. And that's the thing. I mean, so this Pope F, I don't want to say the full name, so I'm trying not to get you in a whole lot of trouble. He is the last, so it won't be the next one. It's actually him who does it. And all those people in his empire are saying it, and they're going against him because, Roxanne, I just had it up a few seconds ago, said it perfectly. He's trying to get away from all biblical stuff and also tell them to follow Klaus Schwab. Well, if anybody follows Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, his little prophet, his little minion, whatever you want to call him, is Noah Harari. And Noah Harari runs Silicon Valley. And even though he's a Jew, he goes against everything of the Jewish religion. And he even said, there's no longer a need for a God because we can now create our own God. And humankind will no longer exist because we'll change their DNA where there'll be a whole new species.
I don't know.
Me personally, me personally, I'm thinking Klaus Schwab or Noah Harari is the Antichrist. Just because of all the stuff he's doing.
Well,
and
there's definitely a couple viable candidates for this actually coming true here very, very soon. I do believe that come 2027 is going to be the time frame that the proverbial shit is going to hit the fan. So we do need to keep our faith, keep our heads on straight, don't get overwhelmed, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best, that kind of a thing. Pray, or meditate, or whatever you choose to do to talk to your to the Holy Father, the Heavenly Father, Yahuwah. It's something to that I've basically have found that history is definitely repeating itself time again. It's definitely something. Let's see, what's that say? Antichrist or not, we all have to go on with our journey. Just know the move towards better things. Yeah, unfortunately, yes, that's true. We need to keep on going and stand strong in our faith, because as soon as you waver from your faith, that's when when you're going to have break loose, and literally all hell break loose. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I just found it interesting how all the dots connected, to this the Holy Lance, the spear that pierced Jesus' side is being held by a billionaire in Florida. So I thought that was very,
Yep.
very interesting. And, divine intervention or not, there's no greater power than having the power and the blood of Jesus Christ backing you up and protecting you, and helping you out with future endeavors. And,
Mm-hmm.
literally it lines up with everything that's going on right now with this certain individual that's running for president again. It literally does.
Yep.
Um, because the people that I talked to in Florida years ago was on the verge of divulging it himself, and he chickened out. So
Mm-hmm.
he 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 won't even discuss it anymore. But I guess I'm talking about it because it makes sense. It's something that we need to know. I mean, if he has
Well,
that kind of influence on the world, you know, who else would go around saying they could stop wars, or they could start wars, or they could stop disease and stuff? That's a divine intervention talking through that individual. You see what I'm saying? It's not a demonic possession, but a divine influence on what the person says to the masses. Okay. Jesus
yep.
chose his words very, very delicately. Okay. As I try to do. And it's not easy when you can't breathe. Okay. But Jesus was here, on earth, and he specifically had chose certain words for certain descriptive things. Okay. And he had somebody, a scryer, following him around and scrying down all of the statements and the announcements and the proclamations that Jesus made throughout his entire life to the
Uh-huh.
disciples, and all the people that he preached to. So, and that historical base actually works in the favor of the Holy Lance being in somebody's possession too. So I guess it just makes sense to me because you can't have 3 attempts on your life done and not come out without some kind of permanent injury, per
Uh-huh.
se. And yes, he did have the bullet graze his ear or whatnot and blow out his eardrum, but the other two could have been a lot worse. you know. So to me, that's divine intervention. Good to see you. Over.
Well, it's interesting you talk about this stuff. So I cannot dispute that he has the spirit destiny. So what a lot of people don't know, when DT was in operations the first time, he went to several foreign people, and got rid of a black hat organization in those countries. And if you see those countries are now going back to the system that is meant to be, and which is going to bring in the whole Nasar Jasara thing. BRICS is a big part of it. That's why I'm a big supporter of BRICS, because it gets away from the fiat system that we're in now. So when DT was traveling around and doing this stuff, he was basically made ruler of a lot of these countries. And he also, when he handed a letter to the Pope, the Pope affair, He said you might want to read this wearing your red shoes. And what a lot of people don't realize, red shoes is significant with pedophiles. So he took control of a lot of stuff. He emptied the Vatican of all its riches that it stole from all these countries through all these times during all these wars. So him having that, I can definitely see that being a hell of a possibility, because he went through and was cleansing places. Now, I always tell people DT is just one man. It takes all of us together working with DT to bring in this new age of enlightenment, this golden age for humanity, the age of peace. But everybody wants to stick their faith on one man. It can't be just one man. I'm a big supporter of DT. Never will dispute it. I'm telling you now, it takes more.
Yeah.
I recall a saying, seek the day of death, for it may come as a thief in the night. I may be faulty on actual words with this, but I think it's close to what is. Yeah, I mean, you're right, PC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Christine.
That's what it says in the Bible. So, yeah, nobody can actually predict when the time comes for Jesus to return. But we all have our ideas and our theories that we keep to ourselves, and I just can't help but wonder if the dots that I connected following the Holy Lance, leading me to that certain billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it happening. I mean, and it may have been one of the things that little empire had in its possession when he emptied it.
Right, exactly.
This guy had a hood rat pull a gun and threaten him. He said, "Go ahead, started talking to him about Jesus, and a demon manifest, and gunfired bullets went around him. Long story short, rat got freed." Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of amazing things that happen, and there's a lot of amazing things going on behind the scenes that people don't know. There is a ton of stuff going on. That's why I do my current events, is because I could talk about that a lot more open on Rumble. That's why I do that show on there. But yeah, I mean, we're living in a pantomime, man. I mean, that's all I can say is we're living in a pantomime. Things are getting revealed. Yeah. We're seeing things. Look at all them foreigners that was rioting in Chicago during the DNC. When them people walk that kind of line, they end up, when they can't attack anybody else or the other person just ignores them, they start attacking themselves, and we're seeing that plain as day right now.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say anything about either political party, but it's just, to me, it's always been funny how the movie with the Matrix comes out and they show a red pill and a blue pill, and it's just funny how the two main political parties in this country are red and blue. To me, it's there's no coincidence there. Okay, to me, there's some kind of whether it's a psychological tool that they're using to influence people, because we all know that the 3-letter agency that thinks that they run the world, starting with a C and ending with an A, we all know they think that they're in control and can do whatever they damn well please, and when in actuality they're not the ones in control. They're merely doing what they're told to do, because pretty soon that divine heavenly power is going to come down and wipe it clean. And those that don't blow clean are going to get blown away. Plain and simple. Simple as that.
Yep. It is, man. I mean, we're living in a very interesting time. Not only with the stuff we're talking about tonight, but I mean, look at all the cryptid, supernatural, paranormal, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff going on right now. It's not even, you can't make it up, folks. I mean, the best damn screen, I can't even make it up in the books I write. I mean, the best damn screenwriters can't even make this crap up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of things are being revealed. You know, a
Yep.
lot of stuff's being revealed. So it's a cool time, scary time, but a cool time to live in. I just know what's happening at the end of this cinema that we're in right now, so that's why I laugh about it. It's like, yeah, cheers, folks. I'm
Yeah.
eating my popcorn, drinking my tea. So,
At least you
yeah.
didn't say you're eating your peanuts and drinking your bourbon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just it's a hell of a time, man. And thing is, folks, is we need to stick together on a lot of stuff, regardless if we agree to it or not. We need to stick together. United we stand, divided we fall. That saying has more relevance in things than what people realize, but people take things for granted. You know, I was talking to my youngest daughter today. I was like, do you all not realize the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? And what that means is nothing has power if it's a lie unless you give it the power. And
well, that's like I tell people.
Power,
yeah, that's like I tell people all the time, though, Eric. When you're dealing with, when you're going to say a rock concert and you're going to say the Emmys or whatever, you know, or the Oscars, and you know these famous people make these comments about drinking babies' blood and all that, and making a joke out of it, and eating babies and all that, and making a joke out of it. You know, they have to do that because when I was in a dark spot in my life growing up and doing the black arts of the native people and basically Appalachian black arts also on top of that, I come to learn that words were power. Okay. That's why in the Bible, Jesus chose his words very, very precisely on what he wanted to say and the reactions and the consequences he wanted to happen as of he said those words. Okay. Well, when you're working with black magic and white magic, it's the same principle. Okay. It's not all up here. You can manifest from up here. Okay. You can manifest from up here and you can feel it here, okay, in your chest, but the words have power, okay? And when you listen to them saying over and over again to the public, the viewing families that watch them, about them drinking baby's blood and all that, they have to say that they do that. They have to announce that verbally to the world, but they have to do it in a manner to where it's kind of comical. So nobody takes them seriously, but yet they are announcing to the world that they're doing this so the world is aware of it and not concerned with it because they think it's a joke, so they can continue to do it. It's all part of the ritual. It's all part of the way the dark arts work.
Yep. And that's the thing. When they're doing that, they're not only letting you know what they're doing. That way they say, no, I told you, you remember this, but there's also exposing what they're doing. And this is the difference between people who truly are woke and sheeple. Sheeple won't put no stock into it. People that are truly are woke are going to go, hey, yo, what's this? You know, and so if you got them few saying this and we're not saying anything back to counteract it, it's going to happen, folks. You know, we got to stand together. You know, there's a reason why so many ancient cultures will tell you every time you speak, it's like sending out a oh my gosh, you know, when you do magic, you got to say words, you know, in Harry Potter, you know, Illuminous, you know, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
incantations.
It's the same thing. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. Every time you speak, you're speaking an incantation. Your words have power. You know, Yahweh even said, you have the power of life and death in your tongues, and whatever you speak, so will it be. I mean, it's right
Yeah,
there. It's right there.
yeah. No. I don't.
So,
I don't think anybody can fault someone
mhm.
from being coerced into assuming that certain people in high places are worthy, are creditable, are faithful, and don't have ulterior motives for wanting to be in positions. Let's see. Question: do you, William or Ed, know of people's MMD handlers and people's altar? Hmm.
Well, I know
No,
a
you'll
lot of
have to.
altars doing with cloning. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I know a lot of altars is actually cloning or AI. They're CG'd. A lot of times when a certain person that you don't hardly hear from anymore, that I told you guys several weeks ago before it happened, was going to be told to step down by a certain former person that should not have been president because he's not a legal national born citizen. Um, they expose that stuff all the time. I mean, you watch him, he looks different
Right.
every single time. He acts different. He looks different. I mean, there's actors that play these certain people. I mean, a lot of these people in power that you think about, they don't look the same as they did before a certain 2001-6. So, oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. He rephrased the question here, William. So it really depends on what side of the field you're talking about. Black hats have their own, which a certain Kenyan is a lot of handlers for a lot of them people. On the other side, a certain DT and several other people within certain kind of strength and power are putting stuff out there to let people see. No worries, Woo.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But I think it goes a lot deeper than what we are able to fathom right now. On the way the influences are going in the world today. Um, it's like I said previously, even months back on a podcast. We were talking to Jessica, and I told her, I said, what people fail to understand about all the cryptids that they're seeing nowadays, and all these supernatural entities that they're seeing nowadays, especially on sacred land, and burial lands like funeral, graveyards, cemeteries, native burial mounds, and stuff like that. For the longest time, the indigenous holy men, okay, were asked by the elders to send the basically supernatural powers to protect our ancestral grounds, okay, our sacred
mm-hmm.
land. And a lot of the ceremonies that we did, that's where I incorporated. That's when I found out at a very young age that doing the incantations and stuff, and doing the ceremonies, and saying the words, and singing the words, and burning the sacred herbs and stuff, and you know it had meaning. Every aspect of the ceremony meant something, okay, but for the most part it was the words that I spoke that manifested these entities to come forth. Okay. And if I
Mm-hmm.
was doing it as I was told, I know there were other native holy men out there that were doing it as they were told to do too. Um, so a lot of the stuff that people are seeing is a direct result of dark native magic. Okay. And I'm not saying everything out there is supernatural, okay, in nature, but what I'm saying is that most everything that is connected to sacred lands of indigenous people um, is something that we put on that land to protect our ancestors that are buried in that land and a part of that land, and would protect them and that land, if that makes sense. um, just like they would put wrought iron fences around graveyards. you know
Mm-hmm.
that's wrought iron is supposed to be the only thing to keep the dead from going in and coming out. Wrought iron's what you would use to take the life of someone who is said to be immortal. um, you know there's so many things, so many aspects in our lives that when we deal with the words, um, that's why here lately, other than the podcast and maybe a few times throughout the week, I don't talk a whole lot. I don't say a whole lot because I've come to realize that the words, even if they're spoken in haste or in out of frustration, that bad things can come from it. And I'm kind of at that place in my life where I'm okay with not saying too many things, not talking too much, because I interact in other ways with the spirits, okay, with what I see on a daily basis. And there's something standing right here next to me, nice and cold
Mm-hmm.
too. Um,
Roughly 4 foot tall.
yeah, yeah, it's real cold. And
Mm-hmm.
ironically, it's in front of Corey's artwork that he gave me. Great. That's Corey's artwork over here. This thing.
Yeah, yeah, he did
Oh
good
yeah.
on it.
Wow, that's cold, man. Wow, that's like 10 degrees, 15 degrees difference. Come over here and it's warm. Over here it's cold. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
this area. Wow, that's where I have
Maybe
my
trying to
medicine bundle.
manifest.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have my medicine bundle there and my sacred pipe. It's right there. Well, that's not the only thing. Oh, that's oh man. Okay, I
Could
know
be an
now. I know
ancestor.
now what it, I know now what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, I know now what it is. Remember when a certain object fell off of my wall?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that piece is sitting there.
Ah, yep, yep. Moo's got a question for us. Are global elites forced to do these evil deeds because of their bloodlines, or do you think they're willingly following suit of family rituals and dirty deeds? Me personally, I think they're willingly doing it because I
Well,
know a
yeah,
lot
they're
that has turned against it.
they're definitely willingly to do it. And you got to understand something too. There is 100 families out there that think that they run and rule the world. Okay, and we can name most of them off the top of our heads. Rockefellers, Rothschilds,
Mhm.
um, Clintons, Obamas, Bushes, Cheneys, Clintons. Then you've got um, the royal family, and you got who else? The Prince of Egypt. I can't remember his name. What the heck is his name? I can't
I
remember his name.
forgot.
And then you got several others too. Um, they have to do it. They committed to it over 1,000 years ago, that their bloodlines committed to it, and basically have to do it. Okay. And that's why people in Hollywood are, and all these elitists out there are drinking babies' blood and basically talking about eating babies and all this and children, and because it makes them young. Okay. There was a woman in France back in the, what was it, the 14 or 1500s in France, that used to bathe in blood, the blood of the young maidens that worked for her. The community, the town couldn't figure out why all these young maidens were turning up missing. And here they come to find out that this woman was killing them and draining their bodies of the blood and bathing in it to stay young. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they do. This is what those forces do. Okay. And every time we talk about this stuff, and the spiritual aspect and supernatural aspect of what happens with that kind of a thing, like we're talking about tonight, the powers that be try to silence us. And, I, for one, I'm sick and tired of waiting around and letting these so-called elitists think that they can rule the masses.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that way. Okay. And I, for one, am sick and tired of having to hear them talk about it. It's like Pelosi today. I saw on the news where she announced that she was reptilian, and right in front of the world media, twice in the same day. She says, "Well, I'm reptilian." You know, if they have to say this, because if they don't say it, then it won't come true. It's the words that have power. Okay. If I was to say I'm a werewolf, okay, and I believe that I'm a werewolf, all right, and I felt that I was a werewolf, my heart would be racing, that my throat would be, stiff and hard to swallow. I would be envisioning myself running with a pack of wolves. Okay. I would feel it down my spine. Okay. That's where the manifestation comes from all your senses and the words, and you're being able to envision yourself doing that. Okay. So the words and being able to, use your senses makes it happen. Okay. We have been limited in our I don't want to say godly worth, but our supernatural abilities have been limited. Okay. And here's a good example too. They removed something from our DNA. Okay. The powers that be, to make us mortal. Okay. To make us less length in life. Okay. Because there was a time when we could live to 2, 3, 400 years old. Okay. Can't do that anymore. Yeah. Yeah. We can't do that anymore, and I just had an orb in here. Where was I going with this? God, I saw that orb and I completely lost track.
Anyway. Our lifespan has been shortened.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's like singing the happy birthday song, I, for one, I'll wish you a happy birthday. I'll type it out and stuff and send it to you guys if it's your birthday. You all know that if you're friends of mine on Facebook, but I'm not going to sing it because that's an incantation. Okay. That is a way for the dark magic to shorten your life. It makes you believe that you are limited on how long you can live. Okay. That happy birthday song is an incantation, plain and simple. Okay. And let's take it one step further. You know how people take flowers to graveyards and set flowers on deceased relatives or friends or family that were buried there. That, believe it or not, that simple act of placing those flowers upon that grave is an incantation. Okay, it's a way that basically the person placing the flowers on the grave is so mourning the loss of that individual or those individuals that they're willing to put something alive down on top of the grave in order for them to come back. That's an incantation. Okay, plain and simple, that's an incantation. You may not think it, you may not be thinking that when you're placing the flowers on the grave, but that's the result of that. And when that happens, when you do that, I guarantee for a while you have weird things going on. You might even be followed around by something attached to you from the graveyard. That's not a relative. That's something bad, or someone that lived a bad life. Could attach itself to you. That makes you the willing vessel to take that spirit out of that graveyard and past that wrought iron fence. You see what I'm saying? That's what makes that whole thing work. Okay. Same with well, when you say grace, there's a certain way to say it, to where the whole reason you're blessing food is so you don't get poisoned. Okay. There's prayers out there that are legitimate, our Heavenly Father prayers, Jesus bless this food to the good of our body, the routine. And war criminal, good to see you. But there's certain ways to twist that and make it into something to where it's meant to not curse the food, but possibly make you sick from eating the food, if you know what I mean. You're opening up. You open up. It's a way you say it, that you open up the chances for something to happen to the food before you consume it. Okay, if that makes sense to anybody out there. Words have power. Words have meaning. That's like when you name a car. Okay, like say Christine, we all know the famous Christine car that went around killing people. Okay. You give that inanimate object a name, and you're going to give an evil entity a chance to possess that object, and that object becomes alive. Okay. Words have meaning. You give a doll a name, you open up so an entity can take over that doll, and that doll can come to life. Words have meaning. Okay. I did a podcast a few weeks back on this whole subject, but it keeps on coming up again and again and again in everybody's chats and stuff, and that I see on social media. You just have to be careful how you word things, plain and simple.
Yeah. I've been waiting to ask this question, and Woo kind of beat me to it. So let me get back up to it real quick. So we were talking about Pelosi saying she's a reptilian, right? Mm-hmm. I was waiting to ask, was that before or after the toilet paper coming out of her backside?
Oh, that was before coming out the backside.
Oh my gosh.
Hey Juno, good to see you, brother.
Japanese have a teaching about how the sword has its own spirit. Yeah, they do.
Oh yeah, and there's blessings that you can put upon the metal. That's why the Japanese people fold their metal and make heating it up and folding it over so many times. It's a ritual. It's a way that they do it to incorporate power, spiritual power within that blade. Okay, and they
Mm-hmm.
also name their blades that they make, which also gives them power. Okay, so yeah, these are all normal things throughout around the world. I mean, every indigenous culture has them around the world. You go down to Australia, and the Aboriginals on the outback have certain rituals that they'll do with words that will make things happen. They also have a very very nasty habit of letting flies fly up the nose and clean their sinuses out, and that just kind of grosses me out a little bit. So it would make me sneeze my head off if I let them do that to me. But yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff, man. All kinds.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I mean, you got to think about it. Most of your ancient cultures all have words for certain things to do certain things. Just like you're talking about Japanese sword. If it ain't done right, it don't work. It's brittle. It's no good. Everything has a purpose. Every movement, every touch, every word, everything has a purpose, and it has to be done right, or it's no good. Boar, nine,
now,
stop it.
Christine made a comment here about saying
Yep.
grace because we sacrifice the creatures to eat them. Honestly, if it was solely that purpose, it would be that very simple. But when you take the life of something, whether you hunt it on your own or you go to a livestock yard and pick out a certain, say, pig to be slaughtered and all that, and you need to do what basically most religions would tell you to do, and that's make an offering and saying thank you there on the spot for that animal sacrificing itself to nourish your family. And then you'd go, and when that part of that dinner was served
Mhm.
up, you would say grace over that. Yes. So it's kind of
Yep.
supposed to be a two-part. It's supposed to be a two-part ritual. Okay, of saying grace over your food to eat every
Mhm.
night. And if it is, hunted or whatnot, or processed through a local butcher, you're supposed to say thank you for that, in advance of sitting at a table and saying grace. So,
Mhm.
and that's just something that's been around for a very, very, very long time. So, and some people
Yeah.
don't realize that, but it's Native Americans have been doing that and do more than that. Did you know that when it comes to eating, the indigenous people like myself, we actually make what we call a spirit plate. Okay. And that spirit plate can be a paper plate, and we take a little bit of each of the items that we're eating. We hold it up. Okay, and it has everything on there. Even like if you're drinking coffee with your dinner, or whatever you're drinking, you put a tablespoon of that on there too. And you hold it up and you say grace while you're holding it up, and we offer it to the Creator, and to Makawakan, Sacred Mother Earth. And then we go to the four directions: the north, the south, the east, the west. And then we take that plate outside on the edge of our property, and we put the plate on the ground or on a wooden stump, and we let the animals partake of that plate. And the reason we do that is because it's a double blessing. Okay, it's a way to not only bless ourselves with nourishment and our family, but it's a way to bless the environment and the animals that are around us every day to participate in that blessing. Okay. Plus, it's also a way that we show that we don't suffer from gluttony. Okay. Um, because to tell you the truth, you all know, you see those people in the restaurants that have that. They go to a buffet and they have that plate, and that plate's piled a mile high, and they're going and they eat the whole thing. Okay, we don't do that. Okay, we actually take a small plate and we put every bit of that food that we have, every piece, every separate piece of that food, and what we're drinking, and we put it on that spirit plate, and we set that aside after we pray our blessing, and then we eat. And we may not eat the whole thing, but at least we have that spirit plate that if we do eat the whole thing, we're not making a pig out of ourselves. So
Stop. Stupid. Sorry. Yeah. So Wu wants to know, do Native Americans do anything before they eat animals that they have hunted?
yeah, we actually say it's a tobacco prayer. Whenever we go hunting, we take a medicine bundle with us, and it'll have tobacco in it and some other herbs, sage, sweetgrass, that kind of stuff, and some black licorice root, because we like sucking on that while we're hunting. Keeps our mouth moist. But what we do is we'll take a pinch of tobacco. Say you killed an elk, and you'll take a pinch of tobacco, and you'll say a prayer, and you'll offer it up to the Creator, okay, and then Maka Wakan, Sacred Mother Earth, in the 4 directions, and then the without and the within are the other 2 directions, okay. And a lot of people don't realize that there's the north, the south, the east, the west, the above and the below, and the without and the within. Okay, those are the directions. Okay, and then you take that after you say your prayer. Okay, you take that tobacco and you lay it on the side of the animal that you that gave its life to help you eat. Okay, and feed your family. And that is one way. And then we also honor it by using everything we can. That's a big thing. Okay. We even use the bladders of elk and buffalo for water containers back in the old days. I mean, you'd be amazed. We'd harvest the sinew, we harvest the hide. Nothing pretty much went to waste on that. Even the bones, we would make um, chest lances for Sundance out of some of the bones. Where we would tie off to the Sundance tree. We did these things out of to give that animal honor. Okay, because it all comes back to us, and the words that we say over that animal giving its life, mean a lot too. So that's why we try to use everything we can. So, but see, back in the old days, they used to hunt. The white man, the French trappers and stuff used to hunt the buffalo. They did hunt them almost to extinction. There was only like maybe 100 left in the whole country back in the late 1800s. And the only thing that they took from the buffalo were the tongues. They left the meat, the hides, everything to rot. And when our people used to go out on the buffalo hunts, and we'd come across an open, vast part of the land, and we would see nothing but the corpses of hundreds, if not thousands, of buffalo that were laying there dead, with newborn calves crying because their mother is dead on the ground, and they removed her tongue to make perfume back in New York for the rich people. This is all things that that our ancestors saw and had to put up with. And this is why there was one of the reasons why there was so much resentment for the white man. Okay, we resented them so much because they came to these lands, and they did things to this land and to the winged spirits, the four-legged spirits, the no-legged spirits, the two-legged spirits that jeopardized the interaction with everything, the spirit of everything. The day that happened was the day that the sacred hoop of life was broken, shattered into a million pieces. And now the indigenous cultures around the world are having to struggle to try and put those pieces back together again. This is why so many of our elders back in those days, all the way up into the 1970s, basically, would come to us medicine people, and they would ask us to say prayers and do things to protect the animals on the land and protect the sacred sites that we had where our ancestors were buried. And we did. We would do these ceremonies, and we would ask the powers to send forth what you call elementals. We call friends, plain and simple. So, yeah, I'm not going to go on and on and on with that, because that's a subject that's pretty sore with me.
Well,
especially.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say this is a pretty sore subject with me when it comes to the history of everything, because the history books are written by the victors, and we weren't the victors. So.
Yeah, like for me, I always say a prayer before I pull that trigger, and I try to sing to him, which the only song I know is the Lakota lullaby. It goes, Shante washte hoste da da giashti ma ha ha he pe he washte oh yeah, and I kind of sing that because I want to thank it, and I ask that its spirit go and teach the younger generation its knowledge before it goes to the great hunting grounds. That's the stuff that I like to do, because I give thanks and because it's sacrificing itself for me and my family. So that's the stuff I like to do.
Well,
Christine says, "Can
you need to learn? You need to learn some of them sacred songs I sent you on CD. I've
been practicing.
I sent Eric all the some of the ceremonial songs that we would use in Sweat Lodge and all that on CD that I did up and for him. And a lot of it's the pipe songs and all that, and the songs asking the Tunkashila and the Great Spirit to come to the Sweat Lodge and bless us with their presence and bless the sweat and all that. So, yeah, I did send him that. So, Pancho, good to see you on there, brother. Jessica, good to see you.
Christine, I'll have to look that up later, but if that's what they're saying, I kind of got to agree with you a little bit on that. She said, "Can you look up on Google what the speakers at the DNC were repeating? Strength through joy. It's demonic."
Yeah. Well, we all know where they get their joy from. So.
I gotta get caught up on the comments. I'm a little bit behind. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, and the biggest thing is you got to thank the plants, thank the animals. I mean, they're all living. They all have a spirit. We are all connected in the great circle of life. I mean, you just got to remember that. So,
Pemmican.
yeah, they use the hooves too. They use the hooves for glue. Yeah. Pemmican. Yeah. Yep. Dried pemmican. Yep. And you can't go wrong with the cryptid hunter herself, Jessica Jones in the hills. So, yeah, it's. I don't know, man. There's just a lot going on. We need to get back to the old ways. I'm always saying that. I always try, and we need to get back here.
We may not have a choice in it. I mean, as soon as the first EMP goes off, once the power grid goes down, everybody, you're going to wish you had prepared for it. Trust me. We're going to have to go back to the old ways and do it the old way. I still have yet to get any email on anybody that wants me to send them one of those bracelets, to help them out. So I still have yet to get anybody that wants one. I'm going to give it to them. If they can help out with the shipping, that'd be great. But I won't be doing it until the third of the month. But it's the same bracelets that I wear. So, but I got to get a package out to you too, Eric, pretty soon too, hopefully.
Okay.
So
Jessica says, like The Rock on SNL.
Yeah.
Sure.
The Rock made the comment on SNL that, yeah, he also was interviewed too by some pro wrestler podcast. And the podcaster had this 12-year-old son sitting next to him, and because he wanted to meet The Rock, and why, I have no idea. The podcaster asked The Rock, how do you stay so youthful and so well, built wise, you don't lose any muscle or anything. And he literally said, well, I eat children. And he literally asked the guy's son, how old are you? And the kid's like, I'm 12. He goes, well, I cut off at 10 years old. So, but see, they have to say that. If he didn't say that, then the incantation wouldn't work. Okay. We have to remember that. It goes back to the whole thing that words have power. Okay. And the reason they're saying this isn't to make fun of us because we know what they're like. It's because they need to say it. They have to say it to the world in order for it to continue. Okay. And if they say it in a way that they're joking, nobody takes them seriously. So, except those of us that know. Yeah, I know. I deleted them all too, Poncho. Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree.
Yep. No worries, Camo. Camo Dad, be safe.
Yeah, you be safe, brother. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of human growth hormones are woo.
Well, hey,
Candy says, "Oh, cool, William. I'm expecting some money soon."
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think it was I forget who it was that said they were going to email me, but they never emailed me. Because I even checked the spam folder. Oh yeah, it was Ida. Yeah, you're right. But I never got the email, so I don't know. But
no worries, Uncut. And I'm still gonna give you heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's The Rock and Oprah betrayed people of Hawaii fires. Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They all wanted that land, and people wouldn't sell, so that's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know that those children are still missing? The children that are from the fires are still missing. That's sickening. That's sickening. In the UK, every year in the United Kingdom, there's over 100,000 kids end up missing. In the United States, every year, there's almost 500,000 kids that end up missing. Every year. Ask yourself what happens to those kids.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, is it's not just going on there though, it's going on everywhere. Yeah, war criminal. I agree 100%. The rich do profit from the less fortunate. That's why I always say we need to stand up. United we stand, divided we fall. Yeah, Woo. I don't want to put that one up on there, but yeah, Woo.
Hold on a second.
I agree, 100. No worries.
I'm trying to figure out how I can. Oh, where is it here? Damn it! Damn it! Okay.
You can just type it in the deal, bro.
No, I got too much to type. I'm trying to copy and paste it, and it won't let me on StreamYard.
Yeah, it's kind of a
I don't know
pain
why
in
it
the
won't let me
backside
do it.
type.
I don't know why it won't let me do it. I should be able to do it. I can save it. What the hell's the point in saving it?
Yeah. Yes, Roxanne, that's true. Yes, War Criminal, you're right. Crap, my damn thing just jumped and there we go. Yes, they do, Woo.
Unbelievable. No, it won't let me do it. Darn it.
Dang.
Anyway, all the information is down at the bottom of the ticker on the screen. The all the sites and stuff. So the YouTube channel, William Nighthawk 6630, the GoFundMe, the link trees, and the bonfire store are all on the bottom of the page there. For some reason, it won't let me copy it and paste it. I don't know why.
No, I've not heard of that. They're uncut. Uncut ass William
Yeah,
Eric. Have you researched? Okay.
Yeah, I actually do know about that. Yeah, I actually do know about that. That robot granny. There's some things that some theories out there that she was, a synthetic is what they call them, with AI. Basically, a carbon copy of a living, breathing person. They call them synthetics. And there's also another theory out there too that it was the alien race that shapeshifts into whatever it wants to, as long as it has the ability to see the person, and they can shapeshift and take over the person's persona for so long. And I believe that the one that they're talking about, that he's talking about, is where they were at Mount Shasta, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the one about Mount Shasta? So,
Yeah.
take care,
care,
Candy.
Yeah, I
Anyways,
haven't heard that one yet.
they were
Oh, but I'm
supposed to
sweating like
be the race that's in Mount Shasta, Lumerians.
Oh,
Yeah, the Lumerians, because they were said to
yeah.
have powers to shapeshift into certain things and certain people. So, but yeah, the Lumerians, that's what it was in Mount Shasta, because so many people go missing in Mount Shasta, and that kid was the let's just say the fake granny um, tried to get the kid to have a bowel movement on a piece of paper so they could possibly just take his DNA from it and you know and duplicate him. So, but he
Very
didn't
possible.
do it. Yeah, he didn't do it. So he actually was found several days later. So, and he was found unharmed too.
Yeah, there's a lot more to what's going on there, Woo, and I won't get on it. Well, on YouTube, um, there's a huge
Yeah. We'll have to
misunderstanding with
save
what
that
people are
for
talking about. Rebel.
for your Rumble channel. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. There's, I think I've talked a little bit about it on Rumble. I need to get a Rumble show going. I've not. This has been a roller coaster week for me. I was going to do one today, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah, ironically, War Criminal, that whole incident with that child, that 4-year-old child, he said that the individual's eyes, the reason he knew it wasn't his real grandmother was that the eyes had no white in them at all. They were all jet black. So makes you wonder, was it, something else, or was it, one of the alien races that are said to live inside Mount Shasta? I don't know. Or was it something supernatural? Could have
Yeah.
been either. So,
Oh yeah,
anyways,
I mean it's
trying to read these.
yeah, overbuilt. Well, that's the thing, I've talked about it on my show before. There's a lot of magic and power in mountains. And it has to do, it's more than just the Fae. It's more than just the people. It's more than just the cryptid. There's a lot of
Right.
power in mountains. A lot of power in mountains. A lot of magic. So, I mean, that's one thing you got to take into consideration.
Yep.
So,
That's true.
I think I did a 2-part deal on the. I did. I did a 2-part deal on the Ozark Mountains because that's where I'm from. So I'm more familiar with the magic of the Ozark Mountains. But there really ain't a whole lot of difference between all of them.
Right. Oh, David Pilates shared that story about that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he would know. He's got quite the library in his home office there. He's got quite the binders and stuff full of missing cases. That's one man we don't give enough credit to. Too is David. My hat's off to him. And he's doing it literally. On such a meager budget to try and help people out that
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't get enough credit. He really doesn't. And I know the national parks hate him. The national parks, they don't like him at all. So they shut him down every time they have to interact with him. So, and I don't think he's had any Freedom of Information Acts filled out, and to which I had no idea that you would think Freedom of Information Acts would be easy to get and send in and to get the information, the request. But I've never had to deal with it myself. But did you know that there's some places out there, and I can't really say for sure, but if I think it's national parks, they charge several $100s for filing fees.
Wow.
I mean, that's insane.
No kidding. No kidding, War Criminal. War Criminal says Pilates covered a case I worked while in law enforcement.
He does a lot of them, yeah. I wish he'd do more on the native people though that are missing, because that's a big thing right now. In fact, I'm gonna have to do a show on that. So I'm gonna have to do a show on it. I've been putting it off way too long. So maybe I can get Juno to come on with me or somebody that maybe Corey and you know, get a couple of us together and just do a podcast on it, because it's something that's it's happening more and more frequently now. The cases
there's
are
also a certain
getting overwhelming. So
there's also a certain organization tied with that as well.
yeah. 3-letter agency.
Long. Well, more of a local level. We'll just say
BIA,
it starts with this. Yeah, for us, it's the initials to the 2 letters are CS.
Oh yeah.
Guess I can. Yeah.
Anyways, everybody, that's. I hope everybody can like or share this out. Just remember, you know, when we're dealing with things, especially the way the world's going right now, words have power. Just remember that, okay? I'm sure Juno knows that. So I got to get Juno on here so we can do a Dulce, New Mexico podcast. So see about getting something like that done too. So,
which, if memory serves me correctly, Dulce is along the 37th parallel.
Yep. Anyways, we're going to end the chat here in the podcast. I'm getting pretty short-winded, and you guys have been fantastic in chat. Please like, heart, and share this out. If you want to help out, you know, you can, you know, go to one of the things on the bottom of the screen there, or super stickers. It doesn't matter to me. The way that we really can use the support is asking people to go ahead and subscribe to the channels. We got to get Eric above 500 here. He's got another 198 to go. He broke the 300 barrier, so we're getting closer to that glass ceiling, you know, that firmament. So we're getting there. But yeah, so if we can get them there to 500, that'd be great. So yeah, Christine, there's definitely thousands are missing. Thank you, Woo. Yeah, please like, share, and subscribe.
Yep. Got to do it, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get off of here. We'll see everybody in the morning at 11 a.m. Okay, for Eastern time for the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show Saturday edition. Okay, and we'll talk some more tomorrow morning over coffee. I ran out of coffee about a half an hour ago, so and I can't go without it. So having problems breathing. Everybody, thank you for being here in the chat. You know, you guys are phenomenal. You guys are definitely family. We love you guys a lot. Okay, never forget that. Thank you to the moderators. You know, to Roxanne and everybody. Thank you very much. Please, like Wu said, like, heart, and share this out. And we'll see you all in the morning at 11 a.m. Okay, and Eric's going to be telling you guys about his podcast in the morning too. Okay, so let's make sure we boost him up too. We got to get him over 500 subscribers. Okay, got 192 to go. Yeah. That ain't very much. So, all right, we'll see you all in the morning.
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.